Pick up a leg. Is that easy or hard? Are you wobbly or not? Stand, pick up another leg. Easy or hard? Are you wobbly or not? And then just notice how do your feet relate to your pelvis? So we've talked about the triangles of the feet. We have the heel of the foot, the big toe ball mount, and the little toe ball mount. That triangle relating up into the triangle of the pelvic half, which would be your right sit bone on the right side, your pubic bone and your tailbone. You can actually touch those points on yourself. In fact, let's touch ourselves today, shall we? Whole different kind of yoga class. So go ahead and find your sit bone. It's the one back there. And then your pubic bone, and just feel those two together. And take a little moment, see if you can move apart and together. You may or may not be able to. And even if you just think you are, but you're doing good enough. And then your tailbone and your sit bone, and see if you can move them apart and together a little bit. And then stand, and then feel that triangle that moves from your sit bone, pubic bone, and tailbone, go all the way into your heel, big toe ball mount, little toe ball mount. And now balance on that foot and see if it's easier. Maybe it is. It is for me. And then try the other foot and see if it's harder. It's a little harder. And let's just do that same thing before we roll the feet out. So now think about your left heel, big toe ball mount, little toe ball mount, that triangle on the foot. And then find your left sit bone. And you can pick, my pubic bone's right here in front, so I'm picking that first. But get the sit bone, pubic bone, and sort of feel like you're moving those two bones apart. You're not going to really be moving them this much. It's mostly flesh. But there is some fascia in there and some ligament stuff. So you are actually moving it just a little bit, even with your thought. And then sit bone and your tailbone, and get those to move it a little bit. If you can find your tailbone, you might have to dig up in there. Just see if you can find it. We might play with this more in standing poses. That's super fun. And then get the sense of that triangle in the pelvic half, and then move it all the way down into the triangle of the foot, and see if balancing is easier. It is for me. Okay, great. That's balance trick number one. Number two, get your dowel or your tomato paste and dig into the feet and roll it out. Oh yeah. Just get on in there and roll it out. Feel free to ask me any questions during this, or if you want to make comments, please go right ahead. But find those places in your foot, those nooks and crannies that say, hey, I'm that closet you haven't cleaned out for like 50 years or ever. And if you're not 50 years old yet, then you pick a time number that seems like a long time for you, and then fill in the blank. Make sure you get the outside of the foot, around the heel, around the ball of the ball of the foot itself. And then any particular place that just feels like you want to spend a little extra time there, do so. Whew. I'm finding places galore, because I always have places in my feet these days. And then release the dowel and just now stand, and notice you feel more or less connection between those that pelvic half on your right and your foot. Does one side feel longer than the other? Does one side feel more sunk into the floor? And then try that balance trick again and just see how does your balance change, if it did. And then before we do the other side, just take a little walk and just notice, do you feel different on each side? You don't have to stay in camera, but take a little walk and just notice, is it different in your feet when you're walking around? Is it different in your hips and your back when you're walking around? Or is nothing different? Beautiful, everyone. And then come back when you're done exploring your walking. Get the dowel or your can of tomato paste, which I find is an extremely amazing size. I'm using a dowel though, just to change it up for myself today. I was digging on the tomato paste there for a few weeks. I just loved that size. And then go into your foot. This dowel, by the way, is an old closet dowel that was cut by a friend of mine. Now that I live in Oregon, people have tools here, power tools, and they're neighbors, and that's kind of cool. So I could take this dowel and say, hey, would you like to use your power tools and cut this up for me? And of course, people love to use their power tools if they have them. So the answer was, sure, I love to use my power tools. Ow, we don't have power tools at our house. I mean, John is a piano player, so power tools and fingers don't mix. We just don't even allow them in here. At least that was the rule back when we met. Who knows what it is now. Okay, I'm just digging in there, avoiding the pain that's in my feet by talking. Feel free to chat amongst yourselves. I can't hear you anyway. Okay, dig into those spots. Find the one you want to give a little extra attention to. Give it a blessing or something that works for you. And then remove your dowel. Notice the connection between the triangles of your feet and the pelvic halves. I feel significantly different. I don't know about you. And then try to balance again on that side. How is it? Woo, woo, woo. And then take another little walk. For me, yoga really is about on the mat, off the mat. And how we take our practice. I'm just walking in camera. I'd be walking more in my house. It was just me not talking to you. But the idea is, what do we learn about ourselves and our bodies on the mat? Not only our physical bodies, our mental bodies, our emotional bodies, our spiritual bodies, but how do we then apply it to our lives? Because that's where, to me, that's where the yoga is. It's the union, not of your right half to your body to your left half, even though it might be, but it's really the union of this focused attention and your outside life. It's this union of your non-physical part of you with your physical part of you. It's the union of this sacred space of your yoga mat, and how do I live that sacred space when I'm just doing the dishes. All right. So from there, let's take our legs wide. Rotate your right foot out, left foot in. And take one hand on your right sit bone and one hand on your left sit bone. And as you inhale, go ahead and bend your front leg to the sliding glides and feel your sit bones come apart. And as you exhale, feel them come together. And then as you inhale, feel your sit bones move slightly apart as you take the body over. And as you exhale, move them together. If you do not want to touch your sit bones and do this, just do the regular sliding glides. Okay, just feel the sit bones actions moving apart and together. So just opening the sit bones, just a few rounds. It may be annoying after a while. And then release that unless you want to keep doing it. And then just roll back into the regular sliding glides. Tuning now into the triangle of the foot, moving into the triangle of the corresponding pelvic half. Can I feel my feet really widening as a supportive web as I go down? Can I really feel that web moving all the way up into the fascia of my pelvic floor? So as I bend, I'm lubricating, I'm hydrating my pelvic floor, as well as my joints and all those other things. That might be snap, crackle, popping. And remember, if you're in pain, just do less. You don't have to do big movements here. It really works. All right, that's enough sliding and gliding. Walk your feet together. We'll do the other side in a moment. But just stand and feel and notice, has anything changed? Do I feel a little taller? My answer is yes. Do I feel a little bit more radiant? Yes. And then something else. What's going on for you? Why do I feel taller when I just do those down and ups? I'll tell you in a moment, maybe. Take the legs wide again. Rotate left foot out, right foot in. Again, find those pelvic floors. Let's take right sit bone, left sit bone, and right sit bone again, just to keep the sit bones happy together. And then bend, and then take it over. So as I inhale, I'm opening up that pelvic floor, feeling my sit bones go apart. And as I exhale, my sit bones come together. And then as I go over, my sit bones go apart. And as I exhale, my sit bones come together. And my hands are on my sit bones just so I feel where they are. And even if I feel them move just a molecule, and if that molecule is even in my mind, that's enough. Really is. Not everything has to be big. Some things we want big, like pieces of chocolate cake. I want a big one of those. But not everything has to be big. Okay, I'm loving this. When you're done with your hands on your sit bones, you can just take a few regulars and then really find that idea of the triangles in my feet relating into the triangles in my pelvic halves. I know we've been doing this for a few weeks in a row, but it is a practice. It's not something I'm just giving you information. So hopefully you're enjoying the practice of this, because I am. There's so many layers with this stuff. All right, this will be the last round. Coming back up, walk the feet together, take a moment to stand and feel for a moment. You feel taller, lighter, more radiant, something else. Let's pour the weight onto your left foot, come up onto the ball of your right foot. So I'm on the ball of my right foot. Inhale the arms over the head, clasp your left wrist with your right hand, press down with the ball of your right foot, and then take your body over to your right. Breathe into the side bodies. Can I feel my left sit bone relating to my left heel? Does my pubic bone relate to my inner toe ball mounts? What does my tailbone relate to? You're thinking nothing, but maybe something. One more breath in here. And as you inhale, press down with that right toe ball mount to bring your body up. And as you exhale, float your arms down as your right leg floats up. And release the legs down. I don't know why I looked at the floor. I know where the floor is. Maybe you did the same thing. I don't know. Take a moment and feel. Come up onto the left big toe ball mount. Arms over the head. Clasp your right wrist with your left hand. Inhale, take the body over to the left. Pressing down. Can I feel my sit bones relating to my heels? My tail relating to the earth? And now just think about maybe my tailbone relating to my pubic bone, moving front to back instead of up and down. How does that change everything? Can I feel my tailbone microscopically wagging front and back? You don't have to do anything. Just feel like if you had a tail and it was a happy tail and it could move, how would that inform your pelvis? One more breath. And then inhale, press down with your left foot, bring it up. And then exhale, float the arms down, lift the leg up and see where you are. Yeah, I'm falling, that's okay. And then stand and feel. Great, let's take our little sun salutes. So inhale, float the arms up. Exhale, soften shoulders, sink hips. Inhale, up. Exhale, clasp the hands behind you, open the collarbones. Breathe in as you inhale. Exhale, cascade forward, bend your legs. Release your arms down towards the floor. Inhale, come up to chair pose. Exhale, let's open our elbows to cactus pose if you like, feeling a nice wide back. Inhale all the way back up. And then exhale, float the arms down. Again, inhale, float arms up. Exhale, soften shoulders, sink hips. Inhale, up. Exhale, clasp hands behind you. Inhale, open the collarbones. Exhale, bend the legs, cascade forward. Release the arms down. Inhale, come up to chair. Exhale, open to cactus. Inhale, up. And then exhale, float the arms down. Take a moment and rest. And when I say rest, allow yourself to feel your energy. What is moving inside of me? Let's do one more. Inhale, float the arms up. Exhale, soften shoulders, sink hips. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, clasp the hands behind you. Inhale, open the collarbones. Exhale, cascade forward. Release the arms down towards the floor. Inhale, sweep up to chair pose. Exhale, cactus pose arms. Inhale, bring your elbows and hands together. Exhale, bring your elbows and your head down slightly. And then inhale, lift them slightly. It doesn't have to be a lot. Exhale, bring them down. Inhale, up. Maybe they're barely moving. Maybe you can't get your elbows together. Your hands can be together. Do what you can do. Find a way to make this idea work for you. Maybe your elbows are together and your hands have to be apart. That would be hard, I think. So fun, or maybe nothing can be touching. Maybe it's just your arms parallel, moving up and down. It's all perfect. And then exhale, release into the chest, release your arms down, let your hands drip, and then just shake it down. Slowly bring your head up as you're shaking your arms down. Be nice and slow about that connection. And then gradually straighten your legs and start to really shake your hands out. Shake your elbows out. Of course, if you're injured here, you're not going to be shaking. You can be shaking your legs. And then take your arms out to the side. Shake your arms up. And then start to bounce a little bit if you can. And bounce it back down. And then stay there. And just come to standing. Peel. Let's come back. Legs wide-ish again. Good job, everyone. Rotate your right leg out, left leg in. And now let's go ahead and let's take both legs pointing straight forward. So we'll just take a parallel position here. So instead of having rotated, both toes point forward. Let's take one hand on the pubic bone and one hand on your sit bone if you can. Inhale, and then bend your leg, bend your ankles a little bit. So the knees are going to bend too. And just feel your sit bone and pubic bone moving that way. Okay, they won't actually move that way, that big, but I'm feeling them move apart. And as I come back, I'm going to move them together. Doesn't have to be a very big movement of the legs, okay? So just feel them move apart and then move them together. And now move your left hand to your left sit bone. And as you go down, move your sit bone and your pubic bone apart and then move them together. And go back to your tailbone, move it apart and together. Switch your hands. And so you can do your pubic bone and your other sit bone and together, and your pubic bone and tailbone again. And then bring your legs together and take a moment and feel that. Is there any more connection or any more breath in that pelvic floor, any more breath and freedom in your guts? And your ability to feel an easier way of breathing. Great. Have a block handy in the middle, legs wide-ish again. Now inhale, hands can go on your hip bones or on your hip creases. And then exhale, bend your right leg only. And feel now that you can either touch yourself here if you want to, or just feel it with your mind and your body as you bend your right. And feel the pelvic half, your sit bone, tailbone, and pubic bone relating to the triangle in your foot. So my right pelvic triangle relates to my right foot triangle and back up. And my left triangle relates to my left foot triangle and back up. So let's take that leg down. I'm feeling my two triangles, and then they come back to a diamond. And then my triangle splits off and then comes back to a diamond. And now both legs bend and feel both triangles move down into my feet and back up. And then both legs bend and both triangles move into my feet and back up. So we're going to take that to the right again. One triangle, ba-doop. Other triangle, ba-doop. Both triangles, ba-doop, ba-doop. I just wrote a song. Okay, one more time. One triangle, ba-doop. Other triangle, ba-doop. And then both triangles, ba-doop, ba-doop. Okay, one more time, not that sequence. Bend your right, bring your body forward, and feel how does that tailbone relate to the top of your head, and come back up. And then to take it to the other side, feel how does your tailbone relate to the top of your head? How does the triangles help support the length of your spine? Come back up, and then alternate sides now. to the right and to the left. Beautiful, everyone. Can I feel those triangles giving my spine some room to breathe? Do I feel like I have more choice in there than I did before? Again, it doesn't have to be a very big movement. I'm just recovered. I'm saying that, knocking on wood, from my hamstring, and so I'm just enjoying some more range of motion today that I haven't felt in like 2 months. So let me indulge myself here. Hopefully I won't go, I'm still being careful though. This is the last side. And then come on up, walk your feet together, take a moment and feel. And notice if you feel any taller. Is there any more breath in your lower back? Any more freedom in your guts, in your pelvic floor, your bladder, uterus, rectum region? It's right down in here, bladder, uterus, rectum region. If you have a uterus. If not, there's a space for where your uterus was. Okay, one more. Legs wideish. Now you'll use your block. Inhale, arms to the side. Exhale, bend your right leg. Left hand goes to the block. Right arm can be up, straight to the ceiling, or out. But regardless of where your arm is, you're going to take your thumb and roll it to the inside, and then thumbs roll you to the out. So I'm just sequentially rolling, spiraling through my thumb, wrist, forearm, elbow, upper arm bone, thumb, wrist, forearm, elbow, upper arm bone. Relax the shoulder this whole time, so we're not tensing my shoulder. If I start to feel it in my shoulder, I've gone too far. I'm just doing it with my arm out to the side for a change. You can also be doing it up here, which I'll demonstrate now. Thumb, wrist, forearm, elbow, upper arm bone. And then, if your arm's out to the side, if you can go ahead and slide your arm and just slide it down your back, great. Otherwise, put your hand on your hip or place it somewhere where it's going to be supported and comfortable. If your arm has been up, have your palm facing behind you, bend your elbow and slide it down the back, and just allow your neck now to relax a bit. So I'm just letting my head go down, breathing in. And then inhale, you're gonna breathe all the way down into your pelvic floor to drop your tailbone down and bring your body up facing the side. Release your arm, straighten your leg and unwind yourself, bring yourself back to the front. Stand, take a moment and feel. Notice the difference in the size of your body. I know one half feels very different than the other for me. And how's that relationship to the triangles in your pelvic halves and the feet? And maybe you're starting to feel the triangles in your feet, pelvic half, moving up into the triangle that is your scapula, your shoulder blade. Legs wide again. Arms out to the side. Inhale, exhale, bend your left leg, right hand to the block. Left hand will either be up or it'll be out to the side or wherever you need it. If that's too much for your shoulder and arm, just keep it down. Just rest it on your body and be supported here. This will be enough. Otherwise, we're playing with the thumb today. Thumb rolls in, wrist, forearm, elbow, upper arm bone. Thumb, wrist, forearm, elbow, upper arm bone. Thumb, wrist, forearm, elbow, upper arm bone. It's smaller than you think. Okay, it's not a big dramatic movement. And then if you're doing it with the arm up, it's more like this. It's the same action, it's just your arm's in a different position. And you're welcome to do both if you can. For some people, this may be too taxing on your shoulder. And at some point, let's just say my hand is facing the back, this direction where my fingers are pointing. Bend the elbow, slide that arm down the back. Or if you were here, just bring your arm to the side. Let it drip down the back. I'm not trying to stretch here. I'm just letting it hang. I'm just letting it hang out there, arm. And now letting my neck go a bit. Breathing in, can I find space between my tailbone, which I've touched many times today, and the top of my head? And then I've got that triangle for my feet into my pelvic halves. So my back is supported with that. I'm supporting myself through my bones here. And now, inhale into the pelvic floor and your leg bones all the way into your foot bones. Bring your body up. Let the arm drip down. Unwind yourself. Straighten the bent leg. And then slowly walk your feet back. Stand and feel. All right. You might need your block, who knows. Take the arms up. Exhale, come to chair, hands to the heart in prayer. Pour the weight onto your left foot, and if you have a block nearby, you can just kind of have the block as a support or a training wheel for yourself. Or you can cross your right leg over. You can also have your block crossed over here as a training wheel, or maybe you don't need it. Those of you that have been practicing and are pretty bendy in the ankles, you can also go all the way into eagle, but don't worry about that because some of you, might be two of you that can do that. Doesn't matter. If you can, go. If not, just use your training wheel or just keep your legs crossed in a nice tight cross. Now inhale into your pelvic floor, into that diamond. Now we've given it a tighter container, but can I still feel the resilience and the breath in there? This is hard enough, I know, so I'm not going to have you do anything else with the arms. Uncross the legs, come to standing and take a moment and feel. Good. So you know what you want to do with your block, if anything. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands to the heart in prayer, bend the legs. Cross your left leg over this time, so I'm on my right leg. I can use a training wheel here. Maybe I'm not crossing my legs at all because my back bugs me or my knees are bugging me. Or you can use that, or you don't use it at all. Or you can cross it all the way into eagle. But regardless, your legs are nice and crossed here. So breathe into your pubic bone and your tailbone. And just see how that breath moving into those two parts is when your legs are crossed like this. And then can you involve your sit bones in some way with your breath? And then uncross the leg, come back to standing, stand and feel. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, hands come to the heart in prayer, bend the legs again. Again, we're taking a little bit more balancing poses today. So you can either just have your foot here or bring it up, and this time bring your ankle over your thigh. You can feel free to use a chair or a wall if you want to balance, a balance aid. Inhale here, and now it's different because I have more space in my pelvic floor. So how can my sit bones help me? Can my sit bones get wider and smaller to help me here? Or what about my tailbone and pubic bone? Because can that relate to anything? Or the triangles in my feet to my pelvic floor? And then come up and release, stand and feel. One more time, inhale, float the arms up. Exhale, bring it. Pour the weight into your right leg, cross your left ankle over. Breathe here. Play with your pelvic floor and the breath, or the triangles, or whatever has been interesting for you so far, or something else. Remember, balance is a moving target. Once you find it, it's something else. So if today's your day to not be balancing with ease in the shape of a picture of a balance, that's not your day. Some days it's a moving balance. Some days my balance is this. It's all I can do. I'm still in my body. I still have a center because it's in me, but it doesn't look like the picture. undo, stand and feel. Great. Let's take the arms up one more time. Exhale, clasp hands behind the back, open the collarbones. Exhale, cascade forward. Breathe in. And release your arms down. Inhale, come all the way up. And float down, stand. Now let's go to the floor. We may use straps today, so if you have one nearby, great. But let's lay on our backs. That picture of balance as you're getting yourselves ready, that picture of balance is similar to that idea of the picture of what a lady should be, or the picture of what your successful life would look like. All these pictures of something are just snapshots, which is not reality, okay? We're closer to a film where things are moving all the time, but a snapshot is just it's just a capturing of a moment. So even when your balancing day looks like this, if we caught you at the right moment, you'd have that picture of balance, because you would have gone through that to the other side, or you've gone through that to falling to the front. So remember, balance isn't about holding a shape for a long period of time. For some, that may be just called rigidity. Balance is about really being able to flow and be resilient and understand our foundation as a moving, resilient structure, which is why we've been working with the feet and the pelvic floor so much, to really find that movement, that resilience in our lives and in our bodies. Okay, on the floor, legs, feet flat on the floor, knees to the ceiling. Press down with your right triangle foot. So my heel, outer ball mount, inner ball mount, and release. Gently press down with my left heel, left inner ball, big toe ball mount, outer ball mount of my left foot, and release. And press down once again with the right. This is something you can't really see, but I'm doing it. And release, completely release it. And then press down with the left. And release, just do it a few more times on your own. Just notice. You might say, wow, one side's so much easier than the other. Or wow, one side feels like caramel and the other side feels like potato chips. I just picked those two random foods, but I can see where that would be quite interesting if one side felt like caramel and one side felt like potato chips. Completely different feelings. And just do it a few more times. And then release. Notice as you do that, I wanted to adjust and move my spine, my head longer, because for some reason that gave my spine more freedom. Maybe that happened for you, maybe something else did. And now inhale, exhale, press down both feet. Be gentle. And as you press down both feet, can you roll your tailbone up slightly and have your sacrum roll to the floor? And then release. And then exhale, press down with both feet, both triangles. And I'm feeling my tailbone and my pubic bone roll up and roll back down. And once again, exhale, press it up and feel that tailbone and pubic bone roll up, even maybe a little bit more. For me, this is as high as it wants to go right now. You might be going higher, and then come back down. And then keep doing that, and eventually you might go a little higher each time and unroll it. So I'm feeling like that fiddlehead fern. Thanks, Margaret, for sending me that picture. And then unrolling that fern back down. So as I roll it up, I'm feeling that energy roll inside of me. So I'm not holding it and compressing it. I'm letting it express in a spiralic pattern and then roll back out, almost like some sound waves. And coming up again a little bit more. Just explore. If you've got SI and lower back stuff, you might not even be lifting your ribs off the floor for this whole thing, just to give yourself some delicious traction in that lower back region. And eventually find a place where you want to hold it, where it feels connected. And then place your attention on the inner toe ball mounts. Okay, release. Your outer toe ball okay, release. Your heels, release. Notice how every one of those places changed. And now can I get even pressure on all 6 points of my feet? And when I do that, do my hips lift or go down or stay the same? They might do nothing. One more breath in. And then exhale, come on down slowly. You can take your feet about mats width apart, let your knees knock together for constructive rest. Or knees can go out to the side, soles of the feet together for Supta Baddha Konasana. Or you can rest in a mini Shavasana, but we're going to take a few moments just to feel your energy. All right, feet flat on the floor, knees to the ceiling one more time. And this time, inhale, exhale, roll the hips up. Stay into whatever shape of bridge you'd like. And then inhale. Let's just take our right arm over the head first. And right arm back down. Let's take that 2 more times on the right. Inhale, right arm up. Exhale down with the right arm. One more time, inhale, right arm up. Exhale, right arm down. Now bend my right elbow, bring my right arm in closer to my body, my palm facing my right buttock. Pour the weight onto my right foot. Press down with my right upper arm, and then if I can, lift my left foot off the floor an inch. For those of you with back stuff, you may choose to not do this. It might feel great though. And just keep pressing your right foot down and just barely lifting that left toe off the floor. I'm lifting it more than I might need to, just to show you on camera, but it can be very small. And then release, everything comes down. Constructive rest, feet wide as the mat, knees knocked together, or any other position. Some of you might want to have knees to chest here, depending on your body. Okay, feet flat on the floor, knees to the ceiling. Inhale, exhale, roll hips up to whatever length, size of bridge you like. And then inhale, left arm over the head. Exhale, back down. Inhale, left arm over the head. Exhale, back down. Inhale, left arm over the head. Exhale, back down. Bend your left elbow. Walk your left arm into your body. Press down with your left upper arm. Press into the triangle of your left foot. And then raise your right foot off the floor a little bit and press it back down. And the other side. I mean, not the other side, just do it again. That meant do it again in a different language. A couple times, just experiment. And then come back down. And this time, go ahead and bring the knees into the chest if you like, or any other rest pose. And breathe into your lower abdomen, right where your bladder, rectum, uterus would be, right above your pubic bone, all the way into your tailbone and your sit bone. So really breathe deep into that pelvic floor region. And now cross your right ankle over your left thigh and bring it on in through the whole pose. For some of you, this might be not happy. So just have your left foot on the floor and just cross your right ankle over and just let that be enough. With all the information you have about breathing into the pelvic floor, there's plenty here to do, no matter what shape you're in, what physical configuration your body's in is a better way of putting it. Allow that breath to fill your sit bones and move into your pubic bone and your tailbone. And as you exhale, that energy comes back up into your belly. Maybe even moving from your belly as you exhale up into your heart, bathing your heart with energy, with prana. As you breathe down from your foundation and exhale, you're feeling that breath flow into your belly, into your heart, maybe your throat. Or something else might be going on for you, and that's perfect. Do that. Maybe that energy eventually rises all the way from belly, heart, throat, possibly up the back and behind my eyes, into the back of my head, out the top of my head. And then release the leg down. Cross your left ankle over. Bring it in through the whole pose, or just hang there. Foot can be on a block, of course. Breathing into your sit bones. Allowing that to expand into your pubic bone and tailbone. On inhale, and as you exhale, feel those points get closer together as that energy moves back into you. So I'm recycling my energy. From my pelvic floor up into my belly region. And as I exhale, my pelvic floor comes together, moving the energy into my belly, then maybe all the way up to my diaphragm and my heart. Eventually belly, heart, throat. No rush, you might still be on the belly. And eventually it might go all the way, belly, heart, throat, back of the head, back of the eyes, maybe out the top of the head. And then release and come down. Knees into the chest, arms out to the side in cactus pose or letter T, or wherever they're comfortable. Inhale and exhale slowly. Move the knees over to your left, head to the right, and back to center. Only go about, 35 to 45 degrees. So it's definitely a smaller twist if you're used to putting your knees on the ground every time. And just for fun, if you want to experiment or ask the question, which you may or may not be interested in, where am I twisting from? Are my knees leading? Are my pelvic halves leading? What if I initiated from my tailbone? Is that even possible? You can eventually make that twist bigger and more range of motion as you like, or keep it small. You're going to still get plenty of benefits. Or am I actually rotating because my internal organs are moving? Do I know? Do I even care? You don't have to know, nor do you have to care. Just, it's on the menu. You can order it up or have something else. Just a few more rounds. When you're done with your rounds, hug your knees into your chest one more time. Open your knees, and then kind of move one knee up and one knee down a little bit here. And then bring your knees together and then sort of shear them over to the, like scissors them to the right and then to the left a little bit. Just have a little play here where your hands are on your knees and just be gentle. And then bring them out wide again one more time. If you can reach your hands to the outsides of your feet, happy baby pose. Breathe into your pelvic floor. If you can straighten your legs, do it, but I don't expect you to do that. You want to rock side to side over your pelvic half, sacrum to pelvic half. If you can bring your feet together and do patty cake with your feet, it can be fun. If you want to bite your toenails, good luck with that. And then release yourself down into Shavasana. So if you've got back or knee stuff that bugs you from time to time, putting something underneath your knees can be awesome, like it's a rolled up blanket, or I'm just going to use the block since it's handy. It's not the most comfortable, but we're not there for so long because it's, square. But it might be fine. It could also be lower. So get yourself set up. Now just watch the rise and fall of your belly as you breathe. So your mind isn't telling your body to breathe. Your body's breathing and your mind is watching your body breathe. Now, allow yourself, if it feels good to you, to take a little pause at the end of your exhale and just rest. It's like your exhale, just like you laid down into the most comfortable bed and you just rest there before your next breath in. So it's a comfortable amount of pausing where you can just get a little deeper rest. As you rest there at the end of your exhale, you may start to feel yourself slide between the cracks of the dimensions. And then just be aware that when you do move to inhale, your inhale is being motivated or inspired from a place of relaxation, from a place of ease. So from your rest, you rest. And from that place of relaxation, you take your next move, you take your next inhale. Doesn't matter how long it takes for you to inhale again. And just release the practice. And just be with yourself for a moment. Nothing to fix, nothing to change. Just be. And remember, in this place of total receptivity, of not doing, of receiving, you have been receiving all you need, want, and desire without having to think about it. And when you're ready, take a deep breath in and release. You can gently wiggle your fingers and toes a little bit to find the edges of your brand new physical body. You can stay there longer if you like, though. Maybe roll your head from side to side, just feeling your brain soft and balanced. And if it's obvious to you, if your right nostril is more open than your left nostril, move to your right. If your left nostril is more open than your right nostril, move to your left. If you don't know, just pick a side, any side. If your nostrils are uneven, notice if they start to come into balance. And then eventually come to a comfortable seated position for a very short, yet amazing closing. Just take a moment to just feel your stillness, your steadiness, your resilience. Feel how much power comes from you just being you. Because you have all that energy that we spend being somebody else. When we recycle that, and just let us be ourselves, we're that much more powerful, that much more efficient, that much more us, and on purpose with what we're here to do. I'm going to end class today with the Parashakti invocation, which means I open myself up to receive the teachings that light the light of self-knowledge inside of me, so we can take this idea of being open to our day, lighting this light of self-knowledge. So usually we do this at the beginning of our yoga practice, but today we're doing it at the beginning of our life practice. Ganesha Graha Nakshatra Yogini Rashi Rupani Devi Mantramayim Nami Matrika Pita Rupani Ganesha Graha Rakshatra Yogini Rashi Rupani Devi Mantramayim Nami Matrika Pita Rupani Ganesha Graha Nakshatra Yogini Rashi Rupani Devi Mantramayim Nami Matrika Pita Rupani. And take a deep breath in. Exhale, release chin to chest to seal your practice. Go ahead and rub your palms together if you like. Place over head, rub your head, shoulders. Give yourself a little face massage. Stroke your throat. Rub your chest, your arms. Give yourself a hug, your belly, your legs. Thank you so much for joining me. It's my honor and my privilege to share this life, to share these teachings, to share this time of our weird existence together. So thanks so much for being here. Namaste.